And then after the tour, what we're gonna do?
Hey, you gotta keep an eye on this
The old jail
He does tend to get lost.
from 1891.
They were short-handed. Over to the right of me, that's the family portable convict car. Convicts would be transported via that car and they would live on it for the duration of the job. Sometimes this would take months. If you can imagine living on that convict car for 2 months before the heat, I'm losing just thinking about it. Down the street to the right is the Florida School for the Deaf and Blind. Ray Charles attended school there, however, he did not graduate. Folklore and tales of the fountain used, which was supposed to be located in the island of Liberty. After his political career had come to an end, he decided to return to the sea and go looking for those islands. He overshot the area by about 50 miles, got the Florida Gulf Stream, and ended up here in beautiful La Florida. Now, he didn't stay long. It weighs over 50 tons, and it marks the spot where Menendez and Father Lopez built the first Catholic Mass on North American soil. They held that Mass and they immediately started to march towards the French. When they arrived in Fort Caroline, they found it lightly guarded, easily taken. And almost as a fun gesture, they said, why was it so easy to take y'all's fort? I thought the French were supposed to be tough or something. To which the French responded, well, that's because we just dispatched 1,000 men by ship to go take your fort. And hearing this, Menendez panicked, turned around, and he double-timed his men all the way back down here to a hurricane. When they arrived here, they found that there were no French. He asked
that's the medium
They said they had seen no French. He asked the locals to move on there. Menendez marched his armada down there and found that out of the original 1,000 men that had set sail for his ship, that they had been caught in that hurricane I mentioned, they went into the street and only 25% of them made it out alive. Now, if they thought their trouble because he then took 150 of those men, marched them out past the dunes of the Bay of the Dancing Dolphins, slaughtered them, and threw their bodies into the ocean. Now, when he returned to base, he found that the remaining 100 Frenchmen were willing to try out Catholicism, because the alternative was quite bleak. Now, I don't have anything about it. The Spanish trail ran all the way from this point, about 100 yards ahead of us, to San Diego, California. There's not a clear count on how many there are in there, because they vary them at fast rates. Down here to your right is what's left of our Kubo line. The Kubo and the Rosario lines are two walls that span the entire length of the city and kind of protected us from those that wanted to invade us through the farm. On the other side of that wall was a 20-foot deep dry moat. Inside that dry moat, these lovely little plants to your right. There's a Spanish bayonet. Never ran into a Spanish bayonet. They do not tickle. I know this from experience. And on the right side of the road, on the other side
this is
of the
where we
south
ate
side, is
yesterday.
San Domingo Redoubt. This was one of 9 redoubts placed along the Kubo and the Rosario line. Each hole would have a cannon emplacement or riflemen, and they would be occupied 24/7. There's 2 towers on the top of that building. Those towers were not for decoration. Just take out those towers and not compromise the structural integrity of the entire building. Teachers that put up with this nonsense were paid about $1 a day. I really hope they lose some first grade the chemistry teachers. And as we come around this next area to your left, you'll see a park that was donated by local businesses and put together by the local people. It is known as Wing and stayed on
right here.
for the next generation. And to your right is the parking garage. There's not much exciting about that, other than the fact that it sits atop the footprint of the old San Marco Hotel. The San Marco Hotel was owned by a woman to your left, the Renaissance Hotel, and its model inside the Visitors Information Center, you can find some clubs displays. There's a museum. There's a gift shop. There's a clean restroom. And our wonderful ticket sales people that'll sell you tickets to all of our attractions across town, including our Coast and Gravestone Tunnel. Okay, let's start.
Oh, look with the
And ladies and
fishies.
gentlemen, if you intend on disembarking here, please wait till I come to the stop and ring that bell before doing so. Once I ring the bell, you can exit to your left, utilizing uprights and handhelds to get back down the ladder. Once I ring the bell, you can exit to your right, utilizing your uprights and handhelds, and then you're backing down the ladder. She requires more attention than I can afford her at the moment. But if you look here, now we are approaching our next stop, the Bayfront. Please do not disembark until I come to a complete stop and ring the bell, indicating it is safe to do so. Once I ring the bell, you can fly. This is stop number 6. Nobody on, nobody off. Solid 5. Definitely not where you want to have a firefight. Now on the left and the right of the street on the other side of the stop sign are good examples of Spanish architecture. Different than the streets in the living room. Now when the English took over, they put glass in the windows, doors leading up. They probably brought some terrible food with them. Now, if you look at the store we're about to pass on your left, these wooden uprights are good examples of what the outside of the Spanish windows would actually look like. Behind that, they would have mosquito net and cheese ball that would let the smoke out and keep the critters from getting in. And we are slowly approaching our next stop. Please not attempt to disembark until I come to a complete stop and ring the bell. Once I have done so, you'll be able to exit to your left, utilizing your uprights and handhelds. You're backing out the ladder. And this is the location of the theme.
Santo Domingo, la gente.
All right, nobody on, nobody off. This trolley's in motion. And over to your right, that's a Columbia restaurant. That's the oldest restaurant in Florida, and it's still owned by the same family that founded it, which is rare because you figure Disney would have it by now or something. The Turnbull Plantation. However, when the Turnbull Plantation was belly up, the owners of the plantation abandoned the Menorcans in their family. They are the reason why we are the oldest continuously occupied settlement in North America. And as we go towards Cordova Street, we're going to start talking about Henry Flagler. At one time, he was the third richest man on the planet. He co-owned Standard Oil out of Ohio, which was the Exxon and Mobil subsidiary. He owned 40 East Coast Railroad, and he also owned a bunch of hotels around this area. Now, he had one hotel that had a piece of property that sat in front of it that was worth about $4,000, $84,000 a year, and they wanted to swap it out. They said something along the lines of let us get back, because that's the great United Methodist Church you see in front of you. Now eventually the Baptists got word that Flagler was giving out churches like Halloween candy. So they came knocking. They said, Henry, can you get a church? And he said no. Then they entered negotiations. They saved up that 10 G's. He coughed up a plot Nobel Prize. But it does have Lewis Comfort Tiffany glass windows, so that's a glass half full type situation. That's 2 puns and 1 stop sign for whoever's counting. Now, as we go down this road, things are going to get a little rough, both physically and emotionally. See, Jenny Louise was Flagler's daughter, and she was like his best friend. He East Coast Railroad to be with him here in Florida to be on the bed. Unfortunately, he contacted a contractor and said, I'll tell you what, you can build this church before the 1-year anniversary of my daughter's death. I'll pay you a king's ransom. If you come in just 1 day over the deadline, I will pay you nothing. And they came in 4 days under deadline, and might I say, they did a fantastic job. This is the Flagler Memorial Presbyterian. Jenny Louise is entombed here with Marjorie wrapped in her arms. Flagler is also entombed here with his second wife. Flagler's son hated his guts, and he is buried in New York. After getting off here, you'll be exiting to your right, utilizing your uprights and handhelds as if you're backing down a ladder. 4 presidents took him up on that offer. They could stay here whenever they would like, regardless of whether it was in or out of season. Now, if you look to your right, that dome-like structure that's protruding out of the back of the building is the former ballroom of the Palm de Leon Hotel. It is now the cafeteria for the students that attend school here. It is also wrapped in comfort Tiffany glass. They say that there's a priceless amount of that glass, but the insurance company ends all the bulletproof glass that surrounds it. And now we're going to start talking about Franklin Smith. During his travels in Europe, he discovered the construction technique known as poured concrete. When he returned to North America, he had every intention of being the first man in North America. The statue of Henry Flagler himself. And in my opinion, it kind of encompasses his personality. Because he's got one hand in his pocket holding onto his cash and he's staring at the bank. He's got his mind on the money and his money on his mind.
Look at Chase, babe.
And this, to our left, is the house that Franklin Smith built, the Villa Zareda. It is modeled after 1/8 of one wing of the Alhambra Palace in Spain. And now at the museum with some pretty strange stuff inside of it. It has a mummy's foot. I don't know what happened to the rest of them. And it has a rug that's over 24 cat hair. So, apparently in order. So he moved out here, bought the former Alcazar Hotel, and turned it into the Flagler Museum. The Alcazar Hotel is Flagler's second hotel, and the last one that was an ill-gotten gain. And I'll tell you more about that when we leave the chocolate factory. But first, that piece of property I was telling you we traded that $84,000 church for, that piece of property is to your right. Scary. Your little Goodwill car. And ladies and gentlemen, we're approaching our next stop. Please do not attempt to park until I come to a complete stop and ring the bell, indicating it is safe to do so. Once I ring the bell, I would feel better if you were on that side. Once I ring the bell, you can exit to your left. Utilize an upright handheld to the back down the ladder. Civil Rights Museum. That is the former dental office of Dr. Robert B. Haley. Dr. Haley was the first black dentist in North America. On the other side of that is Cora Tyson's home. She was close personal friends with Dr. Martin Luther King, and he would stay at her house whenever he came into town, and he even signed the family Bible. And you can see that inside the Civil Rights Museum. And now we are approaching one of 2 streets in the entire world that are named after Dr. Martin Luther King that he actually marched down. The other ones in Atlanta, Georgia, their traffic is awful, so you just come here instead. I also lived on Martin Luther King Drive in Cincinnati, but I'm sure you guys don't care. On the other side of this is the Yalaha plantation. The word Yalaha is Seminole for orange, and in my opinion, it's just fun to say. I like to yell it when I get frustrated. And the 3 months a year. Now, they just sold T.B. Dumont's plantation house for $800,000. And if you look to your left, I would have a panic attack. Because it looks like it's going to take another $800,000 to get it back in order. Those contractors are going to be eating good. And down here to your right, this blue building is the former Dr. Augustine residence of Weir Whedon. Dr. Whedon was called that because he was more like a Dr. Frankenstein than an actual practitioner. He took liberty with body parts that did not belong to him. When the Seminole War Chief Osceola died while in mission, and when his children would misbehave, he would make them sleep with that head in the jar on the Cincinnati Bay. Sorry about that. It's a compulsion I have. And guys, if you take this tour in here at the end of the tour, they will give you free booze. If you overindulge, don't worry about it. I'll come back and pick you up. You don't have to go it alone. I'll be your designated driver. Whereas I used to call it college, now I drive a trolley. Probably know how that turned out. Every semester. Yeah, and he locked her in that tower. He was a really nice guy. Now we're about to enter the Plaza de la Constitución. It is called that because the one time the nation switched over from a monarchy to a constitutional-based society. When they made this switch, they felt the need to pledge by building constitutional monuments at all their territories around the world. When the king took over, they ordered them back. They would measure from the heel of your fanciest boot to the top of your fluffiest feather, and that's where they come up with measurements like. So he's a very short man, but I wouldn't make fun of him about it because he was an absolutely deadly swordsman. Probably that low center of gravity helping him out. And now we are approaching the Cathedral Basilica. And when I was mentioning that goober parked in my spot, I went to explore that, but I gotta warn you guys, there is no oldest elevator inside there. You have to do 240 steps on natural. I'm not afraid to admit that I can get that for 240 steps without telling my idea of fun. It sounds like yours, I say go for it. But I don't want to hear that.
Are those the bolts, Faith?
Huh?
Are those the bolts? Are you sleeping?
I'm sure you can guess what happened to the rest of them. You guys burned to the ground, you're right. This is the oldest house. You're actually here. Let me read the sign real quick. Alright, nobody else. This trolley is in motion. David. Their names are Firm and Faithful. They're firm because they're made out of marble. They're faithful because they weigh thousands of pounds and they ain't going anywhere. I had a tourist tell me one time that a hurricane can take those things down. I had to let him know that if a hurricane knocks us over, that's called the apocalypse. We got nothing to worry about. Now, ladies and gentlemen, she's fighting out of but looking at things, it looks like the